Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the DJ Sessions Presents the Virtual Sessions. I'm your host Darren, and right now I'm sitting in the virtual studios in my favorite chair in Seattle, Washington, and coming in all the way from NYC, New York City, the Big Apple. We have none other than Robbo Fitzgibbons today on the show. Rob, how you doing today?
Hey man, what's going on? How
Not
you
much,
doing?
man. I got Enzo, the DJ Sessions doggy mascot over here, trying to give the
Yeah.
high five as well, saying, "What's up?"
What's happening, Enzo? He
Not
looks like
much.
he's very interested in whatever's on the desk.
He is. He is. Well, we might have Doja the cat jump in here as well earlier. The Doja the cat, the kitty mascot. But anyways, hey, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching some of our shows. Previously, I'm super excited that we got to connect through our mutual partnership friendship, MN2S and Meg and the team of the label services team over there. Got a lot of stuff working on with them, and I can't wait to talk with you about what you've been up to and what you've been going on. So you are a DJ producer out of New York and has been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
And, we want to get to know you, get to find out what you're all up to. Some of the things I found, though, like you mix a style of hip hop, R&B, and electronic music.
Yeah, I guess it's the definition of a DJ. You entertain, you know what I mean? So just to play one genre would be kind of counterproductive. So that's just the way I learn, and I just still continue it to this day. There's things that I like to do, I like to play, and then I get creative with that. So I do that, but then I get booked for bar mitzvahs and weddings and things of that nature. So, I have to know pop music, I have to know cultural music and things of that nature. So,
You got to know how to take a request respectively.
absolutely, I can't get upset. No problem. You want to hear it? I got it.
So I take it you're in your studio right now as well, right?
Yeah, this is where all the magic happens, man. East Lake. This is where it happens. I produce my show out of here, which is really cool. Video and audio, and then production, radio, imaging, and all that is done right here.
Where are you distributing your shows right now to? I see you have a couple deals out there for radio, but you said video. Where's that all going out to, and how did you get involved with that?
I am, I've always wanted to do the video situation. Well, not always. It's been about a year that I've been trying to get that set up. And finally, over the past month or so, month and a half, it's been working out pretty well. I'm in the process, and I think it's going really well with the Rewind Network out of Pennsylvania. That's has an app situation and a digital brand that's really doing well. And I think that's going to be the home for my Monday night mix, video wise, right?
Awesome.
So yeah,
I can't
yeah, it's cool.
stress. I mean, I've been doing this show for 16 years and been in video production, public access, broadcast television, podcasting, and live streaming for over 30 years. And I think podcasting and live streaming are two mediums that are it's still wild, wild west out there, kind of, but definitely an avenue that artists can use to enhance their brand overall. Even if they're not using it to produce music or play music, just having that session that can be part of their brand of talking with people, of talking about what's going on, what's happening. Even if they're in the studio and they're making a track, and then they're, I know a lot of shows, we started as a DJ show, obviously online. That was our goal. But I also, when I opened up my studio, I had other types of programming coming out of my studio. I produce a movie show, couple talk shows, a hip hop show, and I had people rent studio time out from me for $50 an hour. And I'd come in and multicam produce their show and stream live from our studios here in Seattle. And,
Okay.
it was going for a little bit, it was cool. I wanted bigger and I got bigger. Got bigger.
Definitely got bigger.
But it wasn't. I'd say it wasn't as easy to do what we had set up, because I had the executive producer mindset back then, not the DJ mindset. Like you gotta worry about gear and getting tracks and honing the craft and beat matching and spending hours looking for tracks. I'm over here geeking out over the next camera switcher, or how can I get more bandwidth into my place at that time? We had 2 megabit upload at that time we were working with, and probably we're getting like 0.75.
Really?
Nowadays you get gigabit Ethernet, like, oh, I can stream
Was
4K all day long.
Okay, I didn't realize it was that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was. You go back and look at some of our earlier episodes, and you're like, people actually watch this. And at the time, it was hot stuff. Like, wow, multiple cameras and DJs and celebrities and. Anyways, you have to do it. Everyone's doing it. I encourage it. You ever need any support, let us know. That's one of the things that we're here to do at the DJ sessions.
Cool.
But getting into the business side of things, what do you consider your biggest break that launched your DJ career?
Wow. It was early on, and it was about booking, just being consistent. So I think the biggest thing that launched my career business-wise was word of mouth in my area on Long Island, because I ended up doing a lot of gigs from private to clubs based off of word of mouth. I wasn't on radio. I wasn't in anybody's video as far as a DJ. I didn't know the famous DJs. I didn't even know the famous DJs that lived like 10 minutes away from me. So it was word of mouth, like, hey, this guy's good. He did my birthday, get him. So I think that was the thing that broke my career in the sense of confidence and knowing that, hey, I can really do this, right? So for years, I've spent, in every state that I lived in, I spent doing the mobile gigs, right? And it escalated to like, okay, these are nice mobile gigs. I'm getting good money. I'm meeting a lot of people, and people know my name. They know my brand. And it never escalated to the point where there was a tour bus or anything like that until I started working with rap artists, right? And making beats and stuff like that. But I think that was for some people, they wouldn't think that was a turning point. But for me, it's about the music. So if I can entertain you and you're happy with what I'm doing, I can transcend what's in my head and what I hear out of the music, and you get it, and then you want me to come back, I'm good all day with that.
Nice. That's a really great way to obviously build contacts and build with the on that side of the business. And that's really where a lot of my friends are event DJs, the corporate gigs and the weddings and the bar mitzvahs and the things like that. I mean, corporate gigs alone, you get in doing that and you're good, and they refer you and you keep doing it, and you're getting sometimes 3,000, 4,000, depending on what your gear is, $5,000 an event. You do 10 or 20 of those events a year. Hey,
not a bad deal.
Not a bad deal. And then all those people are seeing you and they go, we want to hire that guy for our wedding, for our birthday, for our bar mitzvah.
Exactly.
And they're doing 200, 500 person events. Yeah. There's your network right there. You don't have to be the famous DJ making money. If you want to go for the fame and fortune and stardom of that and play the entertainment route, right. Okay. But you might meet that person who's a friend of a friend at a party that goes, damn, let's bring you over here.
Right.
And
exactly.
Definitely networking that way.
Exactly.
What was the best, or what has been the best business decision or partnership deal you've ever made when it comes to your career? Is there one defining moment that says, I'm so glad I did this? Or happy that I did this?
Yeah, it ended up being severing ties with unproductive relationships. I was bad at it at first, and then as time went on, I was able to be a little bit more proactive. So I think there's a few things that I can say was a defining moment, but that's definitely one, of being able to say, hey, look, I can walk away from this and I still am going to stand on my own 2 feet. So that is significant. And then I think touring with rap artists, that was a defining moment. I learned a lot, and so much that it was like, okay, now I know what this means, right? Now I know what it means to be on tour and to I was able to be able to communicate to a lot of people like stadium full of people, and be like, okay, there's a difference between that and a room, right? So after doing it 3 years, I was good at it coming in, but I learned just how much work I needed as time went on. So I was like, okay. So I learned and I got better and better and networked with a lot of other DJs and really started to understand what that was. So
It's kind of like what I call two things there. I like you brought up two different things. The first one, obviously one of my PR people I worked with a few years back, talking with them, he's worked with a number of top artists, broke artists out, brought artists up out of nowhere and made them successful in the industry. He says, Darren, there's sometimes when you just got to trim the fat. And I'm the executive producer, the owner, and you just got to, as much as you love people, if they're not productive, they're holding you back. If they're not, I just recently went through a reband and had to kind of shift some things around. And be like, look, this is where we want to go. We got to go this way. And a very awesome book that I recommend so many people read from time to time is called Good to Great. And it was New York Times bestseller. And one of the things that it talks about, the whole book is based on taking these, I think it was like 15 or 20 companies or a certain number of companies, and they went and researched each of these companies and said what they asked them pretty much all the same information, looked at all the data, same questions, CEOs, executives, everything, and they came back with all the data, and they found that all these companies basically followed the same thing, which took them from almost a no-name brand. And these are top Fortune 500 companies in America, no-name brand with competitors up here owning the market, to literally going whoop, and becoming the household names that you know of them today. And one of those things was, they talk about, the flywheel, they talk about the momentum, but before that, they talk about this bus analogy. And you got the company and everyone, before they made the changes, everyone was on the bus. And if something's going wrong with the company, everyone's on the bus, it's not going the right direction. First of all, you got to stop the bus.
Right.
And some of these companies aren't able to do that because they're a big steamship in the water. You know how it talks about it like this. You can't just turn a steamship and go around 180.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. So they say you got to stop the bus. Then you got to make everyone get off the bus.
Right.
Then you got to let people back on the bus that you want. And when you put them on the bus, you got to put them in the exact seat that they're going to be on the bus. Then you decide where the bus is going to go once you've done that.
Right.
And then you start that fly. Well, that's another chapter I could go into there. But the point is restructuring, reorganizing the company to get it in the right direction to where it needs to go. And they said, there were companies there that had family members that thought they'd be a shoe-in, and they're in a vice president position for the rest of their lives. And they're like, sorry, you're gone.
Wow.
Sorry, you're gone. There's people, but boom, you got to go. We got to get people in here to do this right. And that was one of the first things they did, because you can't have a bus going in a direction when people don't know where the bus is going, or if it's going in the right direction and doesn't want to change or turn or move,
right?
And do all that fun stuff. So I like that revamping, reassessing partnerships, friendships, even personal habits can be a huge thing in this industry. Mental health habits. I was telling you pre-show, I took an 8.5 month hiatus after doing the show for 16 years. I've burnt out a few times in my life, just spinning the wheel, trying to get things going and wondering why things weren't going. And then now I just say, now my new saying, I can't say the first saying, but it's kind of it's funny when my friend's gonna put on a t-shirt. We're probably gonna sell them on the site. You'll see that later in life. But the next one is when somebody doesn't want to work with me, or something doesn't go the way, like I pitch somebody or do something, I go, you know what? Less work for me.
Right.
It's less work for me, because if it wasn't a go, it didn't resonate, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse or go after it and waste my time. Yeah. Less work for me there. I'll go figure it out over here.
Exactly.
And most of the time when that happens, it's what they call dodging a bullet.
Yeah.
It just wasn't clicking. You don't see the potential. I've laid out everything. Have a nice day. That's kind of part of the that's the first half of the statement of what we're going to put on a t-shirt. Have a nice day. There's a moniker that goes with that. Have a nice day, but it's not family, not safe for work, family friendly.
That's it.
But anyways, you just got to make sure you're healthy and know where you're going. That's mental health. Is dead weight and people pulling you in wrong directions can be a bad thing. So congratulations for getting through that and noticing that and then moving on through that.
Yeah, man.
Going back to the business, the DJ side of things, do you participate in remix competitions, or are you just affluent in making remixes? I think I saw something in there that you do. You're involved with doing remixes and things like that.
Yeah, I've done remixes in the past. Actually, it's been a couple of years. Label out of Paris, France. I did a remix for an artist. I forget the artist's name off the top of my head. Did well. It was techno actually. The original was a techno, and then I kind of brought it back to my style of house, which is really house, maybe a little bit deep.
Yay!
So it was cool. It worked out really well. I still spin it, and it works. So it was really cool. But I've never been in a competition. I never looked at music and DJing. To some degree, DJing is a competition, but not to the point that I would enter. Like when I was a kid, I tried it like once or twice, and it just wasn't my thing because I need more time to show them what I wanted to hear, right? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't going to get that in a 10-minute set, right? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I think that would definitely be hard to.
Yeah,
a
scratch DJ, turntablists, they do that. That's what they do. They can get their point across in 10 minutes, a 10-minute set.
Yeah, not too long ago, I was part of went and saw a DJ competition. Actually, it was a producer beat making competition kind of thing, and DJ Qbert was one of the guest hosts for that.
Nice.
Always nice seeing Qbert around.
Yeah, he's in Washington, right? Is he in Washington? No,
I think he's based out of
Cali.
LA.
Okay.
I don't know. I have his number in my phone, but
okay.
I'm not gonna pull it up during the show. That's one thing I highly guard is my Rolodex. Not that I got you his number, but like Q, we're talking about you right now on the show. But you also produce your own tracks, and you gave me a preview of these, and you have them. They're coming out soon. Talk to us about those. Tell us about those 2 tracks, and the names, and what's the thought process behind those 2 tracks, and
yeah,
you're excited to release these. I know you are.
Yeah, excited. Definitely excited. I caught up with Georgie over at M2S, and he heard the main single, which is La Serenidad, which is Spanish or Latin for serenity. So the vocal part of it is the Serenity Prayer. So there's wordplay with that throughout the track, and I thought it was a really cool track, and he liked it. He's like, "Yo, we could put this out." So I was like, "Oh, okay," but I didn't think that it should be out by itself. So I thought that it required another track in the release. So I had some tracks. I'm always working on something. If I press my drum machine right now, something's gonna play. There's always something, right? I had some stuff, that I was like, all right, let's see what can complement La Serenidad. And it took a minute. That was probably one of the hardest things to do, is try to find something to complement. Because La Serenidad is it's more electronic than it is house, but you can dance to it, and it has a nice flow to it. So nice. It's heavy and bottom wise and stuff like that, which is what I like. And it's a very clean track, and to me leans more towards tech, right? Leans more towards that. And then the response to that was something that I wanted clubs to play. Like, you're gonna play it at maybe not the main stage at a festival, but definitely maybe like Forward Motion, right? You'll play it at Forward Motion, right? Because that's how I DJ. So I needed something that was going to hit the decks that I know I'm going to play. La Serenidad is, hey, you want to play something that's cool? Yeah, play that. And maybe it can get picked up sync-wise and this and that, because it's a really cool song. Mm-hmm. So the next song is called So Funky, because it is so funky. It's definitely a club banger. A lot of bass bend, rattling, hi-hats, So it's a really cool song. I played it on my show the other day. And it fit right in. It was really cool, and I'm really excited about that. So we're waiting to see. I think that we're going to get a good response from both tracks, and it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really cool.
And how do you define success as a DJ producer? Would it be a Beatport top 10 hit or a sold out tour if you plan one? What are your thoughts on this? It's your definition of what should be defined as success for a DJ slash producer.
Um, there's a couple of ways to define it. For me, it's goal orientated, so those definitions kind of steer my goal. Um, Securing more work, other people want to work with you, remix work, stuff like that, and playing out. You know, I think I'm not expecting one single to automatically get you gigs like that. I think it takes, it takes a catalog to be like, hey, we like what he does, right? And as I say that, some gigs have come in because of the single, and it's only the first one for MN2S. So I'm like, oh gosh, I wasn't expecting that. So when I define it, it's very loose definition because the music industry is without any boundaries. Success is without anything could become a success, and then the next record is not.
True.
So,
And, it all moves in cycles and waves, and
right.
I've heard a lot of artists that say, to be successful, really produce what you want to produce,
right,
and find the niches in that. Don't try to follow the hot trend, because by the time you get in,
it's done.
That trend's gone.
Right.
And it's like, nope, that's not what's happening. So,
exactly.
Definitely sticking to your guns and building your own library. I think that's a great way of building your own brand.
That's what I've been doing.
Awesome. So, question for you, and I know I usually know the response to this one because I get it sometimes myself. But I gotta ask, who's your favorite DJ / producer out there? Can you tell us why? It's a loaded question because I don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah. Gosh. Some people would be surprised by my answer, but Ronnie Size. You wouldn't think it would be Ronnie Size, but yeah, Ronnie Size. Gosh. I'm a big Opalapo fan. So yeah, him, and there's another guy that's in Texas that I play a lot of his music. I forget his name off the top of my head. Then there's people that I work with personally that I hear their ear and their flavor and everything. Good friends of mine that, I'm like, oh gosh. So I consider him to be like, Michael Allen, who's a good friend. So shout out to my man, Mike. Everything he puts together, I'm just like, he has an incredible ear, and he listens, and it's like, how did you hear that? How did you decipher that? So, personal friends of mine. And then there's the stables. I'm a Kid Capri fan. Because, and people don't realize why I saw him come in and do a mobile at my college. And I patterned how I did mobiles off of what I saw him do. And it wasn't even about DJing. It was about having the staff coming in with vinyl and how he operated. And I was like, that's what I need to do. And as soon as I started following that, that's when things started really flowing for me as a DJ, nice. Mobile-wise going. Because if you're carrying records, everything's a mobile at that point. You know what I mean? So even if you're not bringing equipment, you still need a squad to bring the records. So, I followed him.
A big cart.
Yeah. So, and they had to stay there the whole night. You couldn't leave middle of the night. And then I'm like, so I guess to answer the question, we go from Ronnie Size to Kid Capri.
Nice. Hip hop has had a turntablism culture for many years. I mean, it's kind of part of that culture. Do you feel that electronic music DJs should become a bit more creative with their mixing on average? You have a lot of DJs that get up there and they have the gear, they have the CDJs, and they have their cue points and they have their the beat matching tools, the sync button. If ones are using that, I know that's a taboo environment world its own right.
No, I don't consider. I don't consider that taboo at all.
Well, you have people out there that said use the sync button. That's not fair. That's not beat matching. And it's like,
Nah,
okay,
because
so
we'll touch on the sync just for a minute.
yeah, just for vague. You know that.
I don't use the sync button because I just didn't need to. Right. I worked hard at learning how to do it the way I do it. So it doesn't make me any better than the person that does the sync button, because the end result is a listener. And that's, like I said earlier, I need more time. I can't, 10 minutes is not enough time. So I need the person that's listening to me to be happy. You know what I mean? Whether I'm making a record, making a remix, or I'm DJing for a bar mitzvah, or I'm DJing in a club. If they're not happy, then it doesn't matter. So I'm sitting in front of a Rev 7, right? And I've been working on this not long. It's less than a year. Prior to that, it was the turntables, right? Mm-hmm. And I've been doing that forever. Hasn't changed. I didn't even touch CDJs. Probably wouldn't be good on them, because I had to figure out where everything was. So the reason why I got to this is because of the stems, right? And the access to them and the way you can manipulate them. And in my mind, I only make a change with equipment-wise when there's something significant. So I dreamed of doing what this does now years ago. I was like, I need to be able to take this bass line out, because I've always been that way as a kid. I was like, I want this part to play here, and this, and looping records with a tape, that was always my thing. So DJing is just an extension of that. And when the Rev 7 came with the access to stems the way it does, I was like, okay, now I'm able to have more control of every song, and I'm really giving you a performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, yeah, I think all DJs should do some sort of manipulation that's entertaining and makes you stand out from the next guy, because anybody can press play, right? And then it just goes. That's not what we do, not at all. So it's you gotta do something. You just can't sit there and press play. Even if your selection is off the chain, there's got to be something.
And do you speaking about the crowds, going into that, do you prefer playing more sort of bigger scale events, or do you prefer more intimate club settings, like somewhere maybe 300 to 400 versus 1,000 plus?
I like them both because it's a challenge. I did remember Ruckus Records?
Sounds familiar.
Raucus, I might be saying it wrong. Raucus, RAWKUS. Mos Def was on it. Late 90s, early 2000s.
Yes. Okay.
Hip hop. Yeah. I did one of their parties when I lived in Atlanta, and it was at a small venue. It was like maybe 100, 150 people there, and I'm just hitting them in the head with hip hop joints, mixing them and this and that. And everybody's having a good time, and I played a record, and I was playing, with the fader in and out, and everybody at the same time was like, so loud that they just started laughing. It was like, yo, I can't believe we were all feeling that vibe at the same time. So it's those type of things that you probably can't get out of a big room. But then at the same time, I've worked for Christian, a rap artist, and I was able to usher in the spirit with a certain record. And that was the same type of response. So it's a challenge to be like, okay, how can I get you into my head to hear these records the way that I hear it? You know what I mean? So every time I play, it's like, okay, how do I get you to take, your shirt off and be like, okay, let's get it in. You know what I mean? Whether it's on the radio, how do I get you to have a good time? How do I take you back to, oh, this is the old record, or take you into like, that's a dope record, with a house track that ain't nobody heard, or it's just something that needs to be replayed or something like that.
And as a DJ, do you follow the charts and what's hot, or do you just follow your heart and try to bring that to the dance floor?
Depends on where I'm playing. When it's house, when it's house music, I play by my vibe and what I want you to hear, and it's very personal. When I play house music, it's very personal, especially when it's deep house. Soulful house, it's kind of like okay, it's like R&B to me to some degree, depending on the crowd, right? If I'm just trying to get like a crowd to dance and they like house, they say they like house, but they don't have a clue because house is so many different fractions, right? So I'm gonna play the sped up R&B that's now called house, right? So you want to hear that remix of some old record that's now housed up or somebody doing a remake. Yeah, so I'm playing for you at that point. But, I'm going to play the remix that I think is dope, right? So, and then it's going to fit with everything else that I'm doing in this one vibe. But when it's a house event, it's personal. I'm trying to get you to really get inside my head and be like, yeah, when I can get everybody like head nodding and they dancing and going off, then my job is done.
Yeah. Do you remember the first record you ever purchased? Is it worth mentioning or is it embarrassing?
Nah, I'm not. No, I'm not embarrassed by any music that I like. It was it was an old record. It was a 45. Dancer by Gino Socio. Look that up.
That was
A
Dancer
45.
by Gino. Okay,
Gino, Gino.
S.
And I probably got the record right there.
SOCCIO.
SOCCIO.
Yeah.
I think he's an electronic producer.
A 1979 crossover disco single by Canadian-born producer. I'm gonna see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. I don't think I can get away with. I can get away with about that much because otherwise we'll probably get flagged for copyright.
Yeah,
That sounds
man.
fun. I'm gonna play that when we're done with the show today. I'll play it in the background.
Yeah.
I don't have the licensing for that, and I don't want to get sued.
Right.
That fun stuff. But that sounds a lot of fun. Lots of
Yeah,
fun. All
yo,
right,
it's a
cool.
cool record.
Answer Warner Brothers, 1979. Hit number one on the disco chart for 6 weeks and was the first of 2 times he would reach the top spot. Also crossed over to the soul singles chart. All right.
Yeah, no.
Fun.
Big record in New York.
Yeah. All right. There we go. That sounds fun, something fun to listen to. Thank you for that. When you get to your stage performance, do you become a different person when you get on stage or when you're on your radio show? Are you a different person off stage or is it Robbo is Robbo, ready to go?
Robbo's Robbo, ready to go.
Some performers get on stage. I mean, I have learned that, while we're having this free-flowing conversation, in a sense, I'm still on a stage. I am still performing right now. Probably people would say I'd be more animated, more talkative off the mic than I am on the mic. But they'd probably go like, Darren, you being a TV show, radio personality type guy, like that's right up your alley because you can talk for hours and keep it going. So, but sometimes, when I get off this, when I'm off, I'm like, I'm off camera right now. But when I'm on camera, here I go. I'm ready to fire up, And so there is a little bit of performance, but, you get on, you got your stage game, you got your, off stage game, but is it just the same? You said it's the same whether you're on stage, off stage?
Yeah, to some degree. I think if there's a change is when I get tired, and then I'm like, okay, I got to lay down. I'm tired. I'm like, okay, I'm tired. And sometimes I have to tell myself, wait, you're tired. But, yeah, I don't think there's much of a difference. I think there's definitely a difference radio voice wise. I think maybe, I might perform in that type of way on air. But,
I've had that happen with guests behind the stage. I've talked with a few times on the show that, I'm backstage during an event. There's already hoopla and everyone's going on. It's crazy. The artist is flowing in. I got them for 5 to 7, 10 minutes, maybe tops sometimes. And I'll be backstage and I'll be like, all right, cool. So here's what we're going to do on the show. And it's going to be really calm and cool. And I'm just going to ask you a few questions. And we'll sit on the couch. And then I'll be like, all right, you ready? Yeah, they're ready. Okay, I'll look at the camera and go, all right. In 5, 4, 3. Welcome back to another episode of the D. And they go, you see them go in the background, and they just
And they're like, whoa.
damn, I didn't know this was so professional. And they're like checking their shirt or something, because I got the footage from all 3 camera angles going on. So when I go back and edit it, I may not see how they're reacting because I'm looking at the camera like this. But when I go back and edit the footage, you can see them just, okay, this is real. And I come up and they're like, dang, that was a really good interview, man. I'm like, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I'm like, wow. It's kind of like, we're on lights, camera, action here, man. I got to keep my my viewers engaged, and maybe wake them up in the middle of the night. They're watching it on replay or something. Like, wow, Darren came on last night. It woke me up. It was a good interview. Cool. But sometimes that happens. Speaking of stage performances, have you ever had anyone else ever screw up a performance of yours on stage, and what may have happened, and how did you recoup from that?
Yeah, absolutely. I screwed up. Yeah, I screwed up. Yeah, no, I take the good with the bad. And gosh, I think the biggest thing that I've ever screwed up was I was DJing with a band, and I didn't know the direction or the show, the song list, the set list, and I changed it with a record, But fortunately, the only ones that noticed it was us on stage. We looked confused, but because I threw the record in with a scratch, when they heard the scratch came, it was on beat, so it was just like, and then the band just kind of fell back, and then the artist was like, "We're not supposed to be doing that record," but he just did it anyway. Right? So, fortunately, the artist wasn't like James Brown and gave me docked my pay or anything, but. But it was like,
hey, go away! Get back on the flip side.
Right.
I always love Eddie Murphy's impression of James. I think it was delirious. I think it was delirious. It wasn't raw. No, it was delirious. He did that whole James Brown impression. Now, that's a classic, dude. Delirious, man. Wow. That was
my gosh.
Good stand up.
Gosh.
Hey. I hope that doesn't get me flagged for anything. You just copyrighted a James Brown track. No, I didn't. I was talking about him. No, he used it right there. We're suing you.
You got to be so careful nowadays. Let me tell you.
I know, right?
I'm like, what's going on? It's crazy.
Yeah, it just definitely. That was one of the biggest questions people asked me in 2020 was, I literally had hundreds of people contact me doing a show like this for 10 years, and our main primary goal or focus was music, and they're like, how do you get around the copyrights? How do you get around the copyrights? How do you do this? I bought the track on Beatport. I own it. I can do what I want with it. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, that's not how this works.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It's called licensing, and you don't have it. And I know you don't have it because if you knew about it, you'd have it, and you wouldn't be having this conversation with me. And it's very simple. ASCAP BMI CSAC, or contact the artist directly. Have a nice day and pay them their money and get a contract to license to use the music. If you read Beatport or you read any of these places, it's not licensed for commercial use. Exactly. Okay. Exactly. And everyone knows that. And so, I had that conversation a lot back then. But we're pretty protected with what we got over our end. So I'm not too. I was telling you earlier, when we got made a featured partner on Twitch, that was one of the concerns they brought up to us, is that we were very successful on the front page of Twitch. And I said, hey, I want to go back up front. And they said, well, Darren, you might have an issue there. And they were being really helpful to me. They didn't say, yes, okay, good, go ahead, Darren, beware, and let the fires burn. You know, and you're gonna persecute, go after. They said, you have 470 videos up on our site, and they all have red flags on them. I'm like, yeah. And I said, okay, well, if we put you to the front page of our site, some of these Sony, Universal, they might come after you for stuff. And I went, huh? And I go, so I should pull them down? I go, yeah, I'd pull those down. Yeah. And they go, but also, if we put you up on the front of the site, you got 1,300 other videos on your website they come after you for as well. So you sure you want to go to the front page? I'm like, right. Let me go take care of everything.
Right, exactly.
And I had to spend time taking care of everything. And then people were like, how come you don't get in trouble for it? Because I took care of everything.
Right, you got to pay the price.
So
got to pay the price.
That being said, speaking of radio shows, going live and all that fun stuff, putting stuff out there, you have a radio show. I saw you
Yes.
just did one. This was it just this?
Monday.
I'm not sure when your last
Yesterday.
one was. Yesterday, yeah, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Monday
Yeah,
Night
yeah.
Mix.
Yeah. Monday Night Master Mix.
Master Mix.
Yeah.
Monday Night Master Mix. Is that your solo show? You have a couple different shows going on, or is that your main show you have going on right now?
That's my main show.
Okay.
I'm excited about it because I get to play live. I get to play new music and really talk to people real time, real radio. It's the tagline at this point now. It's like real music, real radio.
You've been doing that for a while now. And I had a question about that because I saw there we go. There's that picture. That's the one I want. I'm gonna screen share here. I rarely do this on the show, but this is gonna be fun. I want to know what this setup is. Because I'm like what?
That is an super edited picture of how the old studio was, which was in the basement of this home. So it's AI at the end of the day.
Oh,
it's AI.
Okay,
it's all AI, but it's lifelike, and it's like, wow, that letter R is right here to my right. So that's
I see it now that it's AI generated. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was what kind of gear is this?
It came from an actual picture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it came from an actual picture, but it just rendered everything in whatever the style that was picked, right? And then I just had it blown up to the specs for the internet and stuff like that. And I have a few of them that are like that, but I thought it was really cool, and it was different. It made people look. So it was cool.
That looks like a really nice little studio living room there.
Yeah.
Now I can see right. If you can see my mouse, kind of here, shade in. Anyways, that's why I was wondering. I was like, what kind of gear is that? Really
but it's those turntables right here. It's this setup right here, right? And then that there is a letter R in the studio. It's not high, but in the where it was the other time, it's right here to my right. But
gotcha.
Yeah, but it took the room and just animated it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I thought it was a cool picture.
And how long have you been doing that show for? And where do you distribute that show? Where does that show go out? Because I know it's on you got a couple stations you work with, right?
Yeah, 108soul.com, which is a fantastic platform for hip hop and R&B and house. And it's based here in New York. It's run by a gentleman named Jamie Roberts, which he actually owns and runs a comedy club in Harlem, Comedy in Harlem, that a lot of people go to. I go to there every Saturday night after my show, and the food and the comedy, everything's off the chain. So, he runs that, and he does a lot of stuff in broadcasting, and he put this station together, and it's really good. It's just talent on the station. It's really cool. So I'm glad to be a part of that platform. So that's really cool. And then it's also on the Rewind Digital Network, which is based out of the Poconos, 97.5 FM. So that relationship is getting better and better. And then it's also on Dallas Radio Network, which is down in North Carolina. So that's doing really well. And then there's a few others that we broadcast live on. But I'm excited about it. It's growing. I'm looking for more relationships and connections with people that are really moving the needle. So we'll see. It's growing.
Now, are those shows, are they self-syndicated by you knocking on the doors of the stations, or are you using PRX to submit those shows? Are you familiar with PRX?
Knocking on the doors.
Okay.
This Monday Night Monday Night Master Mix is me knocking on the doors.
Nice.
And it's been working out really well.
Nice. I recently just had an opportunity to meet with a station, or actually a friend of mine is getting to go on a station, and I approached them. And one of the things that I found out about that I did not know, because we want to start syndicating our shows, is PRX. Are you familiar with that?
No. I was working one time with, I forget the name of it. It's overseas. I'll waste time trying to think of it. But it was It was a really good network, but it was all based overseas, and that was
Mhm.
like maybe 2017.
Yeah, what I
But
found that was really awesome about PRX, and for those of you that don't know, it basically is a place where you can take your shows, and when they're radio formatted, you put them into their database, and then people can find your show and then syndicate it. And basically, they pay for the syndication of it. You can set your pricing for it and everything.
really,
And you make the file the right way that'll go into the new digital format for radio stations, and you can get syndicated all over the place, and
wow,
podcasts can syndicate you, radio shows can syndicate you. It's pretty awesome. I was like, wow.
hmm,
And I don't work for them. I haven't signed up. I've only started making my account there to explore
yeah,
it, see how much more it's going to add to the already Darren Bruce DJ Sessions workflow. But
right,
it really isn't that much from what I explored. But we're definitely going to put our shows up in there. I just
cool,
got to make sure that I keep them in a certain format. That's the only thing, is I like doing a
right,
free for all. And like, if our show is supposed to be it's supposed to be 59 minutes. And I
right,
do a show that's an hour and 3 minutes. I got to now chop out 3 minutes,
right, right,
to make it.
and that's work.
So,
That's work.
it is, because I don't like cutting my episodes, because there's always awesome stuff, and I don't want to cut
Right.
out the funny stuff or the bad stuff. And there's
Mhm.
also FCC guidelines you kind of got to go by. And I mean, if you say a swear word and you bleep it, or you take it out, you have to put those notes in there that's why I made that bleep, or that's the word that
Really?
was said when I made that bleep. Yeah, it's a little.
Wow.
It's not just throw my audio file up and let it go.
Gotcha.
They're very
Gotcha.
strict, and they got to make sure, because it can be syndicated anywhere, and you don't know if it's this radio station has these policies, or this listener group, or this.
Right.
So it has to be able to play everywhere.
Gotcha.
You know.
Gotcha.
And I think that's some of the things they have to do for reporting, so they don't get fined by the FCC.
Right.
I've been told it can be up to $500,000 per fine or something like
Yeah.
that.
It's no joke. It's heavy.
No, not at all.
Very heavy.
Not at all. So, that being said, as far as shows go, you have your own show, but do you listen to other shows? And if so, podcasts or shows, do you have three kind of top shows of your go-to that you go to listen to, or that you recommend outside of your own show?
These
No.
dangerous questions.
I'm going to get in trouble now.
No, there's a on 108 Soul, I listen to DJ Bilal. You know who DJ Bilal is?
Bilal sounds
He's,
so...
yeah. You remember the hip hop group Groove Be Chill? From they were in the movie House Party.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's way back.
So he's a DJ for that group, and he's on 108 Soul, and he's always playing some real cool hip hop and doing cool blends and mixes. So I always try to catch his show on 108 Soul, and then who else do I listen to? I listen to Benzo Kane on WHCR 90.3 FM. He's an overnight show. He plays drum and bass, so I listen to that. And then there's some house mixes that I listen to on YouTube, and I don't know who the DJs are. They just sound really, really cool. And then DIFM, I listen a lot to DIFM, so that's pretty cool. But that's pretty much, and then in the car radio, just XM, I'm listening to Shade 45. I tell you the truth, really, I always try to catch DB from the Sway in the Morning Show. I don't know if you listen to XM, but
no, I'm in the world of electronic music now and listen to that all the time. But everyone knows that I'm into. If anyone that knows me, it's Groove Salad by Soma FM out of the Bay Area.
okay,
I've been listening to him for probably 22 years now, and it's what's on in the background. If I'm doing work, it's what's on in the car. If I'm not at a concert or venue or event, it'll probably literally. I am talking about getting a solar panel put on my gravestone that will download and play Groove Salad, and you can be like, "That's what he's listening to right now." you know.
Gotcha.
I just love it. It's down tempo, ambient, lo-fi, acid jazz.
Cool.
It just puts me in kind of a mood. I love it. I would love to open up a bar or have a space, that would say, okay, this is what's playing all the time. You come in, it doesn't interfere. There can be lyrics on some of the tracks, but a lot of it's like more mood music in a sense, and
Right.
you'd be something you'd sit back and have a martini or a beautiful
Yeah.
and kick back and be like, ah, cool, okay, I'm just chilling. It's not going to interrupt the
Yeah.
environment or the social environment that you're in.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I really, really, really.
I definitely got to send you music, some music. I think you'd like it. So,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I got to send you some stuff because if you're digging out to lo-fi and the hip hop beats,
Yeah.
I press my drum machine right there. You'll be like, oh, yeah, that's it right there.
It's interesting thinking back on how I got into that genre of music, because I used to be very heavily into hip hop rap, in the 80s, 90s. And, I started getting into going out to the dance clubs, the electronic music clubs, and got introduced to electronic dance music as opposed to top 40 hip hop, the top pop stuff, bubblegum pop. And so there was always a difference. It was hanging out at the hometown club and listening to the top 40, top pop, hip hop, or going out to the underground nightclubs and getting the disco, the house, the trance type stuff that was coming out there. And later went into the more electronic music stuff. But I started getting involved into trip hop. And that's where, I got introduced to, most people know Massive Attack, Tricky, out of Massive Attack, Portishead, things of those, that kind of almost what I would say James Bond theme song kind of stuff.
Right.
But that's where I was like, because I'm a huge James Bond fan. My phone rings right now. It's the James Bond theme song. So,
Cool.
kind of thing. So, that really appealed to me, that down tempo ambient, like sultry, sexy spy movie kind of thing. But you take on, you take Mos Def from Massive Attack, and get him out there and it's hip. I was like, damn, there's some thoughts still that I like behind those lyrics, that come into play. So
that's what's up.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear more of your stuff. We definitely are going to hear more of your stuff. And going to have you on the show, but I got to know something, because I was going to be out in New York a couple weeks ago for an event, and I got to know what would you say? This would even be a big trick question since it's about New York City. What's the best thing one should do when coming to visit New York City? I mean, take Empire State, take Central Park, take Statue of Liberty. Okay, great. Those things. Times Square. Okay, what's the best thing? Maybe something that's off the beaten path. It's like, you want to go see something, go do this. Is there a top suggestion you have for people that's coming to visit? The city never sleeps.
There's an area in Brooklyn. It's not Flatbush. I forget the name of the area, but they have tons of cool underground clubs, and have been sponsors for some rave type size events. You know what I mean? I forget the name of it. Yeah, I know how to get there. I just forget what they call the area. Could be Flatbush. It might be East New York. But you definitely have to go there.
I was back there in 2021, and to go see a friend of mine open up at the Brooklyn Mirage for a very prominent artist.
Okay.
I should have been going to bigger clubs and leaving the West Coast years ago. I had never been to a club like that before. I've been to major events, concerts, venues, tens of thousands of people, stuff like that, but not like this, not like the Brooklyn Mirage. I was blown away with that place.
Yeah.
Even the RFID tags, was something that I'm like, why don't we have these everywhere? You just go up to the machine, pop your card in, put your tag on, and you're walking up everywhere. Boop, 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 boop. I ended up, funny enough, befriending the person who worked for the company that got those installed for the Brooklyn Mirage at an event, connecting with them, and then all that fun stuff. But I know the Brooklyn Mirage is kind of down, and there's like another club that came up and opened up. There's a bunch of stuff going on over there in that area now. But yeah, we stayed in a place right in Brooklyn, really nice Airbnb, about half a mile from the club.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. I mean, I was like blown away. And, so definitely want to come back and visit some areas. So yeah, if you can give me some pointers on where to go in Brooklyn, I would definitely make it back out there again.
Man, shoot, let me know when you're coming.
Yeah,
make it happen.
Definitely will. Because I was supposed to come out there too and work with a house group They do a Friday night house thing. Do you know Herbert Holler? Does that name
I
something?
heard that name before.
Herbert Holler does a show, and I just interviewed him recently. He put me in touch with some house people. They do this house thing every Friday from like 7 to 11 or 7:30 to 11. They get a group of dancers in a studio, and they just play house music and dance.
Nice.
I was going to come out there and also interview them while I was going to go cover this event, but didn't end up going out. But I was really excited to definitely collaborate with them and meet up with Herbert, meet up with you, meet up and kind of stay in the city for 4 or 5 days and get some experience.
Yeah, man.
Quick
Absolutely.
stint out there. You know what? Okay, here's a question for you though, and now this is also kind of getting it from the best thing to do in the city, more appealing to the foodie in me. What do you think the best restaurant is to go to in New York? Like top, maybe for that city, top 5. Like we're just saying here, and here.
I'll get you in trouble. Know what? I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. There's some places that I just go to because they're just staples. Sofritos is one. Been around for a long time.
Okay.
It's like not even brand new anymore, but the food is always great. Specifically, Puerto Rican food is what they're specializing in. So I'm a fan of that. So I'm always eating there. But I'm on Long Island most of the time, which is like 30, 40 minutes away from the city.
Okay.
So there's places on Long Island that's off the chain and some right in my town. So there's an Italian spot called Botera's that I'm always eating at. Then there's coffee shops that have great, their list of coffees and teas is off the train. So come out to Long Island once you get into New York, and then there's a bunch of places. So.
There we go.
But in Manhattan, I only know a few. But every time I've gone in Manhattan, I've always had something good. So.
Nice. When you're not entertaining others and behind the decks and doing your radio shows and all that, what do you do to entertain yourself? Like, what are you doing off the clock? Or are you always on the clock, but off the clock?
Oh, always on the clock. Yeah, I'm always on the clock. There's always something that's running through my mind that I want to create, especially over the summers. Production started getting heavier for me over the summer. It slowed down where there weren't deadlines or anything like that. It's been like no deadlines for like a year. So I was just like always making something so that I have something to reference or whatever, right? But since the summer, maybe midsummer, deadlines started coming in, people asking for specific things, whether it be radio jingles or tighten up this mix. I'm looking for a kick that resonates and all right, well, let's bring the mix in, So I don't have I can do some editing. I don't do full out mixes here, but I'll help you get your mix right, and then you can take it somewhere else and get it mixed and mastered. This is more production. So to start, you're going to be in here. I got a rack with a cassette player and a turntable and CD player, and I'm sampling from that or just listening to music and stuff like that. It's always something that I could get myself into. And because now I'm in M2S and I have a remix coming out with the artist that's in Canada. I think he's in Canada, I think. Or upstate New York. I'm looking forward to that remix coming out. So that's really cool. Shout out to Jay Cabrera. So that's going to be real funky. He heard a snippet of it the other day. So he's excited. We're all excited. I'm told his team is excited. And,
awesome. Is there anything else you want to... Oh, go ahead.
It's going to be really cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Right on. Is there anything else you want to let our DJ Sessions fans know before we let you go back to work or play or play and work?
If it work, food, and play, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, I think the biggest thing that I want people to know is about the Monday Night Mix. Tune in. I think you'll enjoy some of the music. We're playing a lot of good music. Some rehashing some stuff that hasn't been played in a while, and then some brand new stuff that's like really funky. And it's like, wow, check this out.
Nice. Best place for people to go and find out that information. Where's that at?
My website, Robbo Fitzgibbons. Robbo, Robbo, Fitzgibbons,
There we
FITZGIBBONS.com.
go.
Simple.
RobboFitzgibbons.com.
Yeah, man.
Check them out. Well, got to give a shout out to the MN2S crew for putting us together today. Meg and the label services team over there. Thank you very much for that. Robbo, we're definitely going to be in touch with you and keeping up to date and speed in the mix with whatever you got going on. We're going to have you back on the show. I think we're going to be getting an exclusive mix from you too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That sounds great.
Yeah.
And we'll see more of you on the DJ sessions in the future coming up.
Perfect. Thank you, man.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here today. On that note, don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com. Go ahead and click that QR code right there. Check us out. We got over 700 news stories every month. We got over 2,700 past episodes, live interviews, exclusive mixes, a new music section coming out. Oh, what else? We got syndicated shows. We got our virtual reality nightclub and our mobile app version 2.0 coming out soon here. All that and more at thedjsessions.com. This is Darren, and that's Robbo Fitzgibbons coming in from NYC. I'm coming to you from the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington for the DJ sessions. And remember, on the DJ sessions, the music never stops. Except for when I forget to hit a button.